editor for New Yorker magazine. Please welcome to the stage, Martin Dandy-Weinstock. Here you go, grab the microphone, okay. Martin Dandy.
Thank you, Francisco.
Welcome to the show, Martin.
My name is Martin Dandy-Weinstock, and I'm not a comedian, nor am I a public speaker. I work for the New Yorker magazine, and I am one of the judges for the New Yorker's Caption, the cartoon contest.
Yes,
can we show the first slide, please? I also sell space for summer camp ads you see in the adjacent page at the back of the New Yorker. We have been running the Caption cartoon contest for 40 weeks now, to great success. It is a simple concept. Every week there is a new cartoon on the back page for which our readership is invited to provide a caption. We feel that people look forward to this feature of the magazine.
We do.
Subscribers are always asking me, Martin Dandy-Weinstock, how come you didn't print my cartoon caption? It was just as funny, if not funnier, than the ones that you chose.
Funnier, more likely.
First of all, don't get all up in my grill. And second, I'm touring the city's comedy venues, large and small, to advise our loyal readership of ways that they can improve their chances of getting their name into this popular feature of the magazine.
Okay.
First is to keep it clean.
Keep your caption clean.
When we published the cartoon that we had last week, we thought that our readership, on average the most educated readers in the country, would be above the sophomoric humor that characterizes and pervades virtually every aspect of our culture.
The first 5 things I came up with are all very dirty.
Okay, well, Francisco, we received over 42,000 submissions for this particular cartoon, The Woman in Bed with the Snow Globe.
Yeah.
And about 13,000 of them, roughly 30% of them, had some variation of the following theme.
I can't believe I just fucked a snow globe.
As you can see,
13,000 people wrote that.
yes, some variation.
New Yorker readers.
As you can see, next slide.
Did I just fuck a snow globe?
For some reason, people really came out of the woodwork to submit something particularly off-color,
right,
sophomoric, or otherwise just plain filthy. Next slide, please.
A snow globe? Jesus, what the hell is wrong with you?
These are actual submissions. Some were more creative than others. Next slide.
Listen, I draw the line at eating yellow snow.
But basically, the jokes were split between vulgar references to the act of sex.
Sure. I really don't care how many inches you've got in there.
References to the snowman's genitalia, or next slide, to the woman's genitalia.
You don't say much, but you do fit perfectly in my gargantuan pussy. That's true. Her pussy would have to be pretty huge.
It would, but that's not really the point that I'm trying.
Speaking of huge, that snow globe is fucking gigantic. From her waist to the top of her head.
Getting back to my point, the point is keep it clean. I am told that this next slide,
the mustache you drew on me has already melted.
Has something to do with the Dirty Gomez?
Dirty Sanchez.
Oh, okay.
I'll unpack that for you. The snowman drew a Dirty Sanchez on her upper lip with snow, which in his world would be his.
Still don't understand.
Sure.
Okay, so again, please keep it clean, or we will just discard the entry entirely. Next slide, please. The next thing I want you to do is to address the situation.
Address the situation.
Okay, it's important to look at the cartoon and notice what is actually happening in front of you. Sure. Let's look at the next slide.
So this is the snowman speaking.
Now, okay.
Is this big?
Yes. Aside from the pure vulgarity, this caption has a few problems with it. The writer has the snowman speaking when clearly, next slide, it is the woman who is talking.
Right. So she would not say that.
Right. And the fact that she is smoking, next slide, indicates that they have already attempted intercourse, rendering the joke of how big the snowman's member might be.
She would already have seen that.
Pointless. Next slide. This caption...
You shook me all night long.
This caption would appear to be clever.
Sure, because he's a globe, snow globe, you'd shake snow globes.
Right, but for it to work, the snowman would have to be speaking. Furthermore, the woman is clearly unhappy. Next slide. and any references to her being satisfied will not address the truth of the subject, of the scenario.
Fucking Upper East Side women.
And as a side note, we decided that special consideration would be made to any caption that imagined that the book there on the nightstand was, next slide, was The Constant Gardener. We just gave a little bonus point for that.
That would be hard to infer.
Sure.
To slip that reference.
Little creativity involved. The Kama Sutra would have been acceptable, next slide, but it borders on being dirty, so we ruled.
So you've been reading the Kama Sutra?
It just is logically flawed.
That's bad enough to actually be in the New Yorker.
Sure. The next thing is to find, next slide, the next thing is to find a unique angle. While this one is fairly humorous, next slide, we got so many references to paperweights.
My husband is coming home soon. He's a very jealous Empire State Building paperweight.
It's kind of cute, but we get so many references to paperweights, it just doesn't seem original, so we threw those out. Here's one that went a different way, next slide. And
most men are turned off by my dandruff.
I thought that was clever. It went
so that's her saying, I have dandruff, which is white and flaky.
They're flakes,
so the snowman would not be turned. It's too much thinking for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't choose that one to win. The next slide, keep it simple. As you can see from the next slide,
oh girl, I'm gonna do you so right that in the morning when we turn on the news radio station, they're gonna announce that your pussy's closed for a snow day. Yeah, oh yeah.
Again, the snowman speaking.
Sure, and he's speaking sort of ghetto.
But I gotta say, also know your audience. I should have put that as one. But no, if it's more than 2 lines, we're not gonna read it. So the next examples we feel are to the point, concise, and funny. Next slide. I think we should see other objects. Kind of cute. Next one. Next slide. I wish just once you'd hold me and not roll over. Cute. Next slide, please. It's like you're in your own little world sometimes.
Very cute. These are very
and finally, I guess the novelty wore off. We're very strongly considering that one.
One of those might actually win.
And next slide. Lastly, this is the most important. I really can't stress it enough. You should not be too funny. After all, we are the New Yorker. We have a lot of serious pieces on global warming and the situation in the Middle East. And we don't want anyone to think that we're like Mad Magazine. Incidentally, Mad Magazine also tried to hold a Caption cartoon contest. Next slide. They left low. You don't have to read all of it. You can't even see it. But it really was. It backfired on them because of the next slide. It said, "I've got a raging boner." It really didn't have any place in this bit. Really.
No, of course.
I'm gonna go right ahead to the next one.
Sure.
Here's a caption we chose as a winner a few weeks back.
This is true. This actually did win. I saw the issue.
So Chip Bowl Chick from California.
Then I guess the Johnsons are feeding our clothes.
So it's sort of a switch.
You have to think about it.
We chose that one because it was just funny enough to get no reaction at all from this one.
Sure.
The next one was one that we found was a little too funny.
Too bad the fish died, but the tequila's still good.
Again, too funny, but some clever man named Michael Reisman came up with that one. Next slide, also too funny, also from Michael Reisman.
I'm afraid to open the bag that's no longer barking like a sea lion.
Again, a little bit too amusing.
It's very grim, very dark and grim. Again by Michael Reisman, I noticed.
Sure, next slide. This is a winner. The ultrasound says it's a keg of Bud Light. Notice Conception, Missouri. I think that's a coincidence.
Missouri. The ultrasound person.
Sure, and we think it's a real person. We awarded them with the actual first prize.
That did win.
That did win. Again, no real reaction. Next slide, please.
We're thinking C-section.
See, that's a little bit more clever.
Because he has no vagina.
Right.
It would have to be a C-section.
Maybe Michael Reisman let us down a little bit on that one. Next slide, please. This also won. This is why I love yard sales.
It won.
It won. It honestly won.
That's bullshit.
And see, you got nothing. Okay, next slide, please.
I meant to tell you, they tore down the sex shop and opened their Walmart.
That's one. And the next one, I like this one very much.
Now can I borrow the car, Dad?
See, again.
That's awful. That has nothing to do with the objects.
Again, too racy, too funny.
You could have had the same two people with no funny objects.
And he's asked her to do these things. Specifically, he's asked her to put on the thing and the tennis racket, and now she can borrow the card. Next slide.
I couldn't find the snow globe, but maybe you can shove this tennis racket up my hoo-ha.
Again, that's too funny. I've got to go to the next comedy show. Thank you very much.
Michael Reisman, you just came here so you can prove you you were funnier than the New Yorker. That's all you did. Michael Richmond just came here to prove he was funnier